like Maury Povich says on his 0 degrees and snow on July 6th. Like Maury Povich says, that's a lie. That is a freaking lie. Hello, YouTube.
Hello, YouTube.
Yeah, it's kind of goofy, isn't it?
I just happened to see that. I'm like, wait a minute.
0 degrees and snow. Well, I don't see no snow. It is hot and warm, because if it was 0 degrees, we'd be wearing our winter coats and freezing our fannies off. Yeah, that's a lie. I guess something wrong with that thermostat. Okay, we're going to do something goofy with Angie, and we got a serious talk about something that's involving one of our trips, basically. We'll talk about that later, okay? We are aware of the situation, what happened at Adventureland. We'll talk about it in a little bit, but right now, yeah, we are. We got to, because we didn't talk about it the last couple of days because we was getting information on it.
Yep.
So, as far as you guys know, but Angie's going to do something goofy first before we get to the serious parts, okay? Oh, I know the sun's somewhat glaring behind us, sitting down for the evening. And that, okay, we're going to decide to talk something about serious now before Angie goes on to her goofy challenge that she wants to do. We are aware of the situation involving Adventureland Park, which is part of our vacation this year.
Yes, we are.
We are aware of an accident on the river raft ride called the Raging River. And we are aware that one of the rafts did tip over with passengers on it, and one of the young kids, 11 years old, passed away from that accident. And there was another kid, as of filming this, is in critical condition still. It was a fluke accident involving the ride with the raft flipping over. As a familiar person, rode that ride many times myself. I rode it multiple times myself.
I rode it.
And you rode it a few times. We all rode it a few times, if the ones that went to Adventureland Park. There's throughout the ride, there's what they call wave making machines, where basically it's a machine that pushes, an arm will push a slant back and forth to create little larger waves. Now, the last time I rode it, 2 of those machines were shut off. They were shut off at the end of the ride because of high water pressure, and it created unusual and dangerous waves, basically. So those were shut off. Now, I don't know if they were in operation or what, but it's under investigation. The ride, before it opened to the public, did pass a safety inspection.
Yes, it did.
The day before the accident.
No.
It was passed on July 2nd, Friday, July 2nd, and it was open to the public on July 3rd. That's when the accident took place. Right around the time when the ride closes to the public, so they can, what they do is allow the queue line to empty out before the park actually closes for the evening. So it closes. So if the park closes at 10 p.m., they had that ride closed. The queue line, they closed the queue line at about 7:30 to allow the queue line to empty out before.
Hi guys.
And that.
John.
Okay, what happened was, it looks like last video I saw from local news, it also made national news.
It did make it.
It really made national news. It made the Today Show, the Good Morning America, all those morning show circuits. You've probably seen it already. Leave it down in the comments below if you have seen about that accident. As of right now, the ride will remain closed until further notice. It would be open time on our trip. Who knows? We'll find out when we get there, basically.
We'll keep you guys posted.
Yeah, we'll keep you posted when we film at Adventureland. We'll let you know what's going on and that. So, unfortunately, a young kid lost his life on that ride. And we are planning to do Adventureland as scheduled. The park will operate as scheduled, but the ride will remain closed until further notice as of this video, as we're making this video. Because it has to go through OSHA inspections and another ride safety inspection. And probably the federal government will probably have to come in.
Does it have to go through the inspections it just went on to?
Yeah, it has to go through. It has to get re-inspected before it reopens
Yep.
to make sure the ride is safe again. And like I said, there's those wave makers.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got those wave makers. I remember the last couple times we rode it before the pandemic. Last time we rode it, we didn't ride it in 2019 because we didn't have the time because it was busy that day.
Yeah. I think
And-
we rode it in 2018.
No, we didn't go out in 2018. I think last time we rode it was back in 2002.
Yeah.
And I remember back in 2002, the last couple wave machines were shut off back in 2002.
Yes.
And that was towards the end of the ride. That was before the cave and after the cave. There's those wave makers before and after the cave. And I remember the ones on the curve before you got to the cave. It created unusual big waves and almost dangerous waves, basically. What they call a rogue wave.
Yeah.
You know what a rogue wave is? It's a wave that comes out of nowhere.
Yep.
It makes an unusual big wave. Now I don't know if that was the actual cause of the accident, but like I said, it's under investigation, and the witnesses, the only one can tell what actually happened when it flipped over. So I'm thinking my experience on that ride, when they did shut down those two wave making machines at the end of the ride, it's because I think it was just making waves too dangerous for the rider's safety, basically. So it made milder waves than that. And I also noticed over the years that they reduced the size of the bumps of waves. What created the bumps of the waves was they removed the cement slabs and put in non-creosote railroad ties. You know, it looks like railroad ties, but they're not soaking creosote. Creosote is usually used for railroad ties for strength and durability. For water parks, they just make simple ties that they tie down to the cement and just create random waves, but not very big ones. And I also heard at parks over in Europe, they're also reducing the size of their waves on their
In fact,
river
I saw
rides.
an article, guys. There's a lot of amusement parks that used to have these, and they took them all out.
Well, you're talking about flume rides. You're talking about water flume rides, not river rides.
River rides.
Oh, some parks have taken out the river raft rides.
Because I did see it.
But there are some parks that add newer versions of them, and the newer versions could be more dangerous than the current ones we have now, because what the newer ones now, they're coming down like a raft, like a log flume.
Yep.
It's a raft going down like a log flume, and if that hits the surface at the wrong point, that raft will also flip over. It could be more dangerous than the current river rides that happen at Adventureland. So, so we gotta watch out for those current raft rides. Basically, Disneyland and Disney World opened those type of raft rides in the past, and they're getting very popular. But they don't realize that they're more dangerous too to ride them and that. So, yeah. So we are aware of what's going on with Adventureland.
We are.
It is a very serious situation, but we are still going to Adventureland as scheduled, as part of our daily vlogs. Okay, as we were aware about the Adventureland's Raging River rides, and we have rode another river ride that had a bigger raft. I think we rode one at Great America, and I think we rode one at Cedar Point 1 year. This is before YouTube.
Yes.
Yeah, it was before YouTube. We rode these rides that had bigger rafts.
I remember the Great America one.
The stations at these bigger parks had a rotating table, where the table rotates, where a raft comes up to the level, to the station level, and it will rotate around a table very slowly, allow passengers to get on and off safely. Then the final safety checks, then they gently get released into the river, back into the river. It's basically gently back in the river, and it seriously gently comes back up. This way the raft is somewhat spaced out at a safe distance, just in case. Okay, what Adventureland has is what they call basically what they call a conveyor belt system, where it just comes up on a set of conveyor belts on another set of conveyor belts, on another set of conveyor belts. Then it goes in the station. There's 4 small conveyor belts. Then there's 2 conveyor belts going into the river. Right now, we're going to wait till this train passes and I'll explain more. Right now, there's a train disrupting my thought. Train of thought! As the train has all officially cleared the area.
It's gone.
It's gone. It moved up the tracks. Okay, what was I going to say? Prior to this accident, I was going to add on to this. Prior to this recent accident at Adventureland, 2018, about 1 year before our return trip to Adventureland in 2019, they had an employee who worked there, a senior employee that worked there for the first week, lost his life on that same ride. But it was happening in the station with the conveyor belts. That's what I was talking about with the conveyor belts. How dangerous to run those conveyor belts, because they're running almost anywhere from 8 to 10 separate conveyor belts. That's what I'm thinking. At least 8, maybe 10. I'm not for sure. And it's run by the operator up there. And the operator had to be at least a minimum age of 18 years old to operate it. I remember one guy who fell. It was in the news. The widow talked about it today.
Yes, she did.
Today, as we're filming this video, it was telling how dangerous that ride is at operation point, especially the operation end, because of the conveyor belt system. It's just not really safe. Myself, in my thought, because I have witnessed an accident myself in the late 80s, where I watched a kid basically had his leg wedged between the raft and the thing, because the operator went ahead and moved the raft before the moved that conveyor belt where the raft was on, was supposed to be stopped to allow people to get off the ride. And when they get if they punch the wrong number, you can see people just ready to fall off that raft. Basically, and I saw one kid lost his balance, had his leg wedged between the wall and the raft, and it nearly, I think, it ended up breaking the kid's leg, basically, and that shut down the ride for the whole day. A lot of people are not happy about it, but it's
accidents happen no matter where you are.
Yeah, accidents happen. Accidents will happen regardless. But if you got a ride that's plagued with accidents, I think it's time for its removal. Unfortunately, unless you redesign the whole ride, and I think the redesigning the ride is you start at the station. I've always told a friend of mine who holds stock in Adventureland, I told this person many times, they need to close that ride down for a year and re-operate it and put a turntable on it. It would be safer operations. Because it's a big, slow moving table, and it's just set it at a slow speed and allow people to get on and off. You don't even feel it. We've been on these stations, these loading platforms before, where the table rotates. You don't hardly feel it.
You don't.
You barely can feel it moving, because you're going right to the raft. You're seated you're seated down, seat belts on, and do the final checks, and before you know it, you're enjoying the ride. And once you get the ride up, they ask you to unseat your belt and get off the ride at the safest point of exit on the raft, and you get off the ride and new riders board and that. But with the conveyor belt system that Adventureland had for the Raging River, I don't feel it's safe, because the operator has to operate many different operating conveyor belts, and if the timing is not right, it throws off the timing, and it just throws people into almost chaos in a way. When we do Adventureland, I'll see if I can film that conveyor belt system. If not, we'll see what we can do for something else. Okay, as of this video, we're going to court systems. Yes, I'm pretty sure there will be a lawsuit coming foreseen future. Will it shut down Adventureland? No, it won't, because they're right now with their newest roller coaster. They're starting to see biggest attendance in recent years with the new roller coaster they're putting in.
Ride the new coaster? No.
No. but we will see it in action. I probably won't ride it because I seen it was very, very intense, and
that's what I've heard.
And that. So, but yes, we will be going to Adventureland for part of our videos. We're going for 2 days, one on camera, or one off camera, one on camera. The one on camera will show you all the changes it has. Then we'll give you any updates about.
Yes, I do know a ride is open that was not open last year.
Yeah, it's the Sky Ride.
Sky Ride.
Going through the monster. Yeah, we will see that one too. All right. Okay, I don't want to make this video too long. Angie wants to do her little goofy thing before the end of this video. She wants to do a zip line deal.
Because now I know how to do it.
Yeah, you know how to do it. We did it before, but no one ever noticed it because no one didn't watch that video before. So
that was a couple years ago.
Yeah. Right now, Angie will probably do the zip line. We'll probably do it again later, unless you want to postpone it until a later date. You want to do that, postpone it on a later date if someone's busy on it?
Yeah, let's just do that.
Let's just postpone it on a later date. The zip line.
We'll do it after our trip. Will that work?
We'll do it, yeah, let's do it after our trip. Because right now...
There's a lot of people down there and I don't want to get embarrassed.
Yeah, and you want to come when its temperature's a little cooler. So we're thinking we'll come at like early morning on, let's say on a Wednesday, we'll do it.
Yeah.
Okay, after the trip, all right?
Yes.
Sounds like a plan?
Yep.
We'll be a day after the trip. I'll tell you that right now. It'll probably be around.
We have a barge.
We got a barge, yeah, but we ain't gonna watch it. Right now, we're gonna move up. We're gonna move up to the other seat, and we're gonna wrap up the video.
Yep.
Okay. Yes. Like I said in this video, we will be going to Adventureland on our vlog. Like I said, we're going to be there for 2 days, one off camera, one on camera. The on camera is going to see the changes at the park, and we'll give you an update what's going on with the Raging River time we get there.
As soon as we know.
As soon as we know. If you guys know of any amusement park accidents in your neck of the woods, leave it down in the comments down below and that. I know there's some politicians that want these amusement parks shut down. Most of these parks, I'm going to let you know, they're pretty well self-regulated to a point because they're taking rider safety to a key, and they do manufacture, they do what I was trying to say is rider safety is the most key, and most rider manufacturers does let parks know what they recommend, how many riders should be in the seat, not in the seat, how to ride it, how not to ride it, all that stuff. That's set forth by the manufacturer themselves because they have a reputation they need to uphold themselves. Actually, I saw on the unofficial fan page for Adventureland.
That's where I saw it.
That's why I saw it too, where Chance Rides sent out a new memo to all amusement parks that all their rides that they have now recommends they need 2 riders. It's probably for safety reasons and insurance reasons. So the insurance industry is going to have a final say of what rides will be up and running, which rides be torn down. Hard to believe it or not. Here's a fact. Here's a little fun fact. The carousel, the merry-go-rounds you see at all these carnivals and amusement parks,
yeah,
they're the most highly insured ride of all amusement park rides. Reason is there's hardly no safety belts for those rides. You're just on a horse holding on to a bar.
Except last year at Rose Park, I had to wear my seatbelt.
Yeah, but that's not a true safety belt. It's just it was just a belt to hold you so you don't slide backwards too far away from the pole. And that's not a true safety belt. Nope. Basically, a safety belt is basically what it is, a safety belt, and that. Most of them has lap bars and all that stuff, and some are pretty tight and snug. If you're a pretty heavy set guy, very uncomfortable. If not, you may not even be able to ride some of these rides. So when you go to these amusement parks, there's always warning signs up there. Weight limits, everything, health conditions, everything. Follow them through. And that.
Pregnancy and all that.
Yep. And that. Broken bones, broken necks, anything, you should not be riding if there were recent
injuries. Make sure you read the warning labels before you ride the rides.
That's right. There's always up poster on every ride when you board the ride. So, and always follow safety instructions on the rides. If the ride operator points you to a certain seat, they're doing it for safety reasons. That's what their training taught them to do.
Yes.
And that. So, right now, like I said, it's unfortunate. It's happened to a park that we're planning to go to. We're still going to plan to go to it, regardless. If we ride the ride, we ride the ride. If we don't, we don't. We'll see what happens when we get there, all right?
Yes.
All right, we're going to go ahead and wrap up this video.
Oh, please like, share, subscribe. Do not forget to hit that subscribe button notification bell. And you guys will see you later.
Oh, by the way, we're going to do that zip line on a later date. Angie and I are talking about it. We're going to do that zip line on a later date.
Yes, we are.
Because of this serious issue we need to talk about. All right? We'll see you guys later.
Later.